Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tep. I'm glad you made it. The VA has pushed out a press release with the headline of VA signs historic 4+1 commitment. Curious to see what this is, how we can benefit from it, and how it's all going to come together. Not sure what it is, so I wanted to dive into it now here with you. Please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. All right, so let's jump into it. VA signs historic 4+1 commitment. It moves on here to say, calling all military spouses. Now look, it's coming from the VA. I'm assuming it's veteran spouses and maybe in addition military spouses as kind of all-encompassing effort here. So let's jump in with the first paragraph. The Department of Veterans Affairs recently signed the 4+1 commitment, a partnership between government and private employers developed by Blue Star Families, Hiring Our Heroes, and the Department of Defense's Military Spouse Employment Partnership to hire and support military spouses. This is great because when you think about it, especially folks that have been in the military for a while, and if you were married during any of that sort of time, the spouse has to job hop because you're moving duty stations and so forth. So it's nice to see these efforts. I will throw out there that I did put together essentially a panel, a channel regarding employment specifically for veterans and military, right? And spouses and dependents, right? So a channel that's specifically focused on employment, and that channel is called Veterans Preference. Veterans Preference is that channel, and again, it's kind of a panel. It's myself. I personally have 10 years or so experience in the employment world as far as veteran and spouses are concerned, and then a couple other folks that have tremendous backgrounds as well. So please check that out. All right, let's move on here. The 4+1 commitment, championed by Dr. Jill Biden, is an actionable way for employers to improve military spouse employment outcomes. This voluntary commitment asks employers to adopt at least one of the employment policies below, plus consider joining an existing government spouse employment program, which VA supports in the following ways. So they have 4 bullet points here. Facilitate job transferability. VA supports the reassignment of military spouses to vacant funded positions for which they are qualified when required to move as part of the service member's military service. 2, offer remote or telework. VA offers telework and remote work positions into which military spouses can be appointed. So in other words, what they're talking about here is the VAs, and I have 2 more bullet points for you here. The VA has signed this agreement to be essentially a spouse-friendly employer, and this is what they're that's why they're throwing in the fact that they are what they meet with regard to the bullet points here. So that in fact they're showing that they meet all 4 of the bullet points. So the next bullet point is number 3: offer flexible working hours. Recognizing the ever-changing demands of military life, VA policy provides military spouses opportunities to request flexible work hours or compressed work schedules. The last bullet point here is provide paid or permissive permanent change of station, PCS, leave. VA leave approving officials can approve up to 5 paid administrative leave days for PCS. And then it has a little hyperlink here that says that you can learn more about it. If you'd like to, you could type in Google and just Google VA adopted or adopts the 4+1 commitment, and what it means for you is the little tag headline here. Let's see what else it says. There is also a little, advertisement. It says Talent Engagement Program, the Veteran and Military Spouse Talent Engagement Program, VMSTEP. VMSTEP provides outreach and employment readiness assistance to veterans, transitioning service members, eligible military spouses, and survivors. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to share with you a little additional information just because we're talking about employment. And again, check out the Veterans Preference channel. It has really just employment specific aspects for you there with a panel type atmosphere. Now I'm going to give you a little more information on another program called Work for Warriors. All right, so Work for Warriors is a federally and state funded program, and they are in several different states. I'll rattle off those states. So if you're looking for employment, looking to boost your income, get a better job, better paying job, or find a job if you don't have a job, these are great resources for you. They are essentially programs that are us for us. So they're typically going to be housed in the military department for each state. Now, some of these departments are compressed. Maybe it's a military and veterans affairs department for the state in which you live. Now, this is where the National Guard lives for the state, for state missions and so forth. They have their joint headquarters for the National Guard, Air Force, and Army, so that way they can function. Now, in there, you're going to find that there is some opportunities for you to be able to obtain great information depending on what state you're in. So, I'm going to rattle off the states, and then I'm going to give you the overview of what they do and how they do it. So, Washington State, Oregon, California, Nevada, Arizona, Hawaii, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Ohio, and Indiana are the states that currently have a functioning Work for Warriors program. Now, that's not to say that the other states don't have something similar in place, but these states for sure are out there and they are available for you to use. So you would just Google search Work for Warriors, and then you would type in your state, right? And I mean, Google's smart enough, it probably knows that you're in that state anyway, and so it should pop up the one that's in your state. Now, how it works is these organizations, which are state and federally funded, so they're not for profit, they don't charge you anything because it's a government program, and they don't charge the employer anything. They act as a matchmaker between you, the veteran, spouse, or dependent, and the employer. They, the folks that work at these Work for Warriors organizations, typically are either veterans, reservists, National Guard members, and they work for their entity in the National Guard as either a state employee or a federally contracted employee, depending on where the funds are coming from. So it's us for us, and the way that it works is these people will go out and make partnerships with the different various businesses out there. Basically, the value proposition of, hey, I got a bunch of great veterans and spouses, that are looking for work. This is what they bring to the table. And are you interested in essentially free advertising and vetting of candidates? And I'll send you these folks. And they, of course, the employer says, yes, this is a great partnership. Please send me as many people that are qualified for this position as possible, right? So now you, as the veteran or spouse or dependent, are viewing the Work for Warriors job opportunities either on their Facebook or on their website, or you're getting an email from them. If you see something you like and you apply to it, awesome. Now you have to make sure that Work for Warriors organization, representative, whoever, understands that you applied in whichever means that you may have been directed to, so that way they can then bridge the gap for you. They will reach out to that employer and let them know, I just had Johnny or Janie apply to job XYZ. They're super solid, and so on and so on, right? This gets you the look. That is probably the hardest thing to get for a lot of these jobs today, is just to get looked at, especially in the civilian sector. So for civilian jobs, civilian employers, the non-government entities out there, they're not required to look at every single applicant, right? So when you apply, it's good to have somebody on the inside, and this is it. So please check out Work for Warriors in those states that I mentioned if you're looking for either a new job, a better job, more money, higher income. Those are all reasons to keep a line in the water And again, the states for the Work for Warriors organizations currently is Washington State, Oregon, California, Nevada, Arizona, Hawaii, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Ohio, and Indiana. So please check them out, and check out that panel channel, the panel channel that I put together for employment specific, called Veterans Preference. All right, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.